We are back with you here at Circuit of the Americas for Superbikes at Texas, this 10th anniversary season of the MotoAmerica Championship. In the case of BellissiMoto Twins Cup, it has been a 6-round, 12-race championship season, but this is race number 11. This is the final weekend of competition for the BellissiMoto Twins Cup riders. Rocco Landers is our current points leader. As we get ready for the first race today, he is coming off of a big win for himself at the Mission King of the Baggers, just coming off of the racetrack. Not able to celebrate that podium, but he gets to get back onto a bike. Welcome into the broadcast booth. I'm Jamie Howe, joined by Roger Hayden. And Roger, in the case of Rocco Landers, he's not the pole sitter. That one goes to Alessandro Di Mario after that impressive performance that he put in qualifying. But Rocco's got the momentum of just coming off of the racetrack with a race win. Yeah,
he's going to know exactly what the track temperature's like, the grip level, and also be warmed up. But also on the flip side of that, he's going to used up some energy already. And so we'll see. We know Rocco's got a 19-point lead going into this race, but Alessandro Di Mario has been setting a blistering pace this weekend.
Yeah, he's been super fast. I mentioned this is a 6-round championship. The last round was back at Brainerd. That was back in June. Let's go back to the highlights, Roger.
Yeah, like most Twin Cup races, this was a barn burner right away with Rocco getting a good start. Rossi Moore, also Alessandro Di Mario, Gus Rodeo. All the big players were up there early on into this race. Watch this move by Rocco down there, right there, just coming from a ways back, but able to make the pass. Ran a little bit wide. Rossi Moore was able to get by. You see there Alessandro Di Mario kind of working his way back through the pack. Here he goes by Rossi Moore. Next guy on his list is Rocco Landers. He's going to chase him down. Look at him trying to make a move hard on the brakes. Not close enough to make the pass there, but through turns 1 and 2, he was able to get a really good run, but you knew Rocco was going to fight back on the brakes down into turn 3 where Rocco's been so strong. But Di Mario didn't give up yet. These two guys were battling out. This was huge for the championship too. You see Rossi Moore also getting himself back in that fight as the race wound down, but Rocco Landers was able to hold on for the win.
Rocco was able to collect his 4th win of the season there with that second race at Brainerd, but making it more dramatic is that was 3 wins in a row for him as Rocco Landers leads this championship by 19 points over just a 15-year-old Alessandro Di Mario, and then Gus Rodeo sitting there in 3rd.
Yeah, and for, I think Rocco, he's got the experience of winning titles. He's won quite a few now, and he's been in this position before. Alessandro Di Mario has nothing to lose. He has to win if he wants a chance for the championship.
Rocco Landers is a 3-time MotoAmerica champion, entering the racing here this weekend with that race win that he just was able to earn in Mission King of the Baggers. That was his 53rd MotoAmerica win at just 19 years old. So much success for Rocco Landers.
BellissiMoto Twins Cup is brought to you by BellissiMoto, where the biggest names in custom bike building shop for parts. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
As the riders make their way around to find their grid positions, Roger Hayden, take us on a trip around this 20-turn facility.
Yeah, and what a great track it is. All the riders love it, but it is a busy track. It is a long one compared to a lot of the tracks that we go to. As you see, as the track map comes up down into turn 1, it's tricky to get through there off the start. But from there, you're going to want a bike that changes directions because it's back and forth all the way through to turn 10. Down into 11, really hard braking corner. Down that long back straightaway into turn 12. Track really gets tight through there all the way through 17, 18, really long right-hander. And the 19, the last corner, turn 20, and right out of the last corner is the start-finish line.
Racetrack was originally going to be called Speed City, but they announced when the track opened in 2012 that Circuit of the Americas would be the name that would stick as they find their grid positions. Let's take a look at the Dunlop starting grid. We already talked about Alessandro Di Mario being able to be so impressive through qualifying. He is our pole sitter. Alongside him on row number 1 is Rocco Landers and Rossi Moore.
Then we got Gus Rodeo, Dominic Doyle, Matthew Chapman making his 10 Twins Cup debut.
Row number 3 of Avery Dreyer, Shannon Barsky, and Romeo Chiavini.
And we got Jeff Bean, Chris Parrish, and Tyler Duffy.
Moving back to row number 5, you see Joseph Bittner, Carl Price, and Bryce DeBoer.
Jeffrey Pert, Jose Flores, and Sonia Lloyd.
You have starting 19th, Michaela Moore, coming off of that championship season in the Royal Enfield program here this weekend alongside Chandler Slagle and Mookie Wilkerson.
You got Rodney Vest, Brendan, and then his brother, I think, they're right beside him.
Row number 9, you got Cliff Cogaletti, Brad Foss, and Rich Foster with Drew Vandal rounding out the 28 bikes that are out there for the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. As everyone makes their way down there, Michael Hill joins us, still down on pit lane. Good afternoon, Michael.
Yeah, good afternoon. Still down here, still getting a suntan. It is absolutely scorching down here. I cannot put into words just how hot it is as these riders come around to conclude this sighting lap. A couple of other things just to throw into the mix from pit lane. We saw briefly there on camera the 96 of Gus Rodeo. He missed pretty much all of free practice 1 yesterday with machine issues. He's never been to COTA before, and obviously the runaway winner at Daytona at the beginning of the season will certainly be one to watch. What's been interesting for me, though, Jamie and Roger, you kind of alluded to it already. The battle for the championship is between Alessandro Di Mario and Rocco Landers. They were comfortably more than a second and a half clear of the third place rider in qualifying. And the final thing to think about is, of course, the heat, because qualifying for these guys has usually taken place earlier in the day. So this track temperature will certainly be the hottest that it has been. So as you rightly said, Jamie, maybe advantage Rocco Landers. But let's see as the grid then is cleared. I'm going to sit down and get a great vantage point to watch this one. We are going racing. BellissiMoto Twins Cup, Jamie, it never disappoints.
No, it doesn't, and it's that heat, that 97-degree ambient temperature. Race control made the decision that this was going to be a quick start procedure, so the riders did not have to stay out there any longer than necessary.
See all these riders, even on the warm-up lap, you see trying to filter down into turn 1. That's why we talk about it's really important to qualify well here. Just make sure you get out of that turn 1 and just make sure you're in a good spot through there and get through there clean, and wherever you're at from that point, you know how the race is going to go.
Michael Hill brought up a good point there, Roger, about the qualifying being just a little bit earlier in the day. And this warm-up lap being out on the racetrack with the high temperature that we have right now, what are the riders looking for?
Well, they're going to be able to feel, you hear some riders talk about when it's hot, it's greasy, and they're going to be able to feel the bike kind of moving around a little bit, and they're going to know exactly what the temperature is. And you know, some riders don't mind the bike moving around, and some guys don't like it at all. So this kind of gives them an opportunity to see what that grip level is.
In the practice session on Friday afternoon, that session was a little bit later, and one of the things that Alessandro Di Mario said when he came off of the racetrack was the fact that his feet were burning. It was hot outside. Normally you don't feel the heat because you're in the breeze when you're on board a motorcycle, but here you can certainly absorb it.
Also, too, that's another reason why, you know, you don't want to sit on the grid real long, because the warm-up, the sighting lap, they come around, and, you know, for the riders, they rather just get out there and get going. And, you know, once the race starts, you're not really going to be thinking about the heat and on your feet. You know, you're going to be thinking about the race.
For Alessandro Di Mario, he also was able to already race once today, making his debut in the Mission Super Hooligans race category aboard a Ducati. A great experience for him. He was super fast there, bringing home a top 6 finish, but not able to score any points today. So he's seen the racetrack already. He hasn't been just sitting around all day long. He's so fast during the qualifying sessions this weekend. 2:17.1 earned him the pole position. Put that into perspective with the rest of the field in terms of just outright pace. For Rocco Landers, starting second, he was at 2:17.9. So Alessandro Di Mario, 0.8 quicker.
Yeah, all weekend he's really just set a blistering pace. Even on his first lap, and one of the qualifiers we seen was right there, right up to speed. So Alessandro Di Mario has gotten stronger as the year has went on, and right now he's riding really well.
He has not been able to win a race here since back in the second race at Barber. That's his one victory so far this season. He's been on the podium 7 times, so he's consistently been there towards the top. But for Alessandro, sitting second in the championship going into this race as the pole sitter, there's a lot on the line for him this weekend.
A lot on the line, and we've seen him lead a lot early in some of these races, but toward the end of the race has some issues pop up, tire wear, and can't keep the pace. So we'll see this weekend if he's able to do 8 really strong laps.
Warm-up lap is complete. See the riders getting into their grid position. The white boxes there that are marked on the racetrack. Front wheel has to be behind that forward white line. You see Scott Paget down there with the red flag in his hand, waiting for the word from the back of the field that everybody is in position. You see him shaking his head right now. He's not ready to move out of the way. All right, red flag going down. Scott starts to run. You're going to see lights come up in the left-hand side of your screen. Lights are on. You can hear the revs are up. BellissiMoto Twins Cup race number 1 underway here at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, Rocco Landers in the middle of that front row got a great start. Also, Rossi Moore as well with a really good start. But looks like Alessandro DeMario is going to have the line around the outside, but he runs wide.
He's going to lead the field down the hill, though. Rocco Landers staying right there.
Rocco making a move on Rossi really early there. He knows he wants to get latch on right behind Alessandro DeMario. Knowing that now he's in the lead, he's going to put his head down, trying to pull away from the rest of the field, and Rocco wants to go with him.
This is an 8-lap race for these 28 riders that are out there today. The opening lap, Roger, they've just done the siding lap, they've done the warm-up lap. This opening lap, what is the biggest focus?
For the top 3, look at the way they're getting away already, and for a guy like Alessandro DeMario that knows he's got the speed, you just want to get your head down as quick as possible and try to pull away and get a gap. As we see a riders, looks like their dash there laying on the side of the track.
I think that's right towards the center of the front straightaway.
It's a little bit off the racing line there on the inside, but Dominic Doyle now got himself into the 4th place.
Dominic Doyle, one of those riders that had such high hopes coming into this season. He's been able to win twice. He's been on the podium 4 times, always right there inside of the top 5.
Looks like they went and got the debris off the track, so the riders do not have to worry about that.
Best safety team out there. Everybody from MotoAmerica working so hard to make sure all the riders and all the different categories are kept as safe as possible. Rocco Landers was looking over his shoulder. Alessandro DeMario starting to pull away from these two.
Yeah, he just looks like he has about a 2nd lead. I think Rocco's looking back to see how many guys were behind him with the 19-point lead. He doesn't really need to risk. You see Gus Rodeo there, and Matthew Chapman making his Twins Cup race, first race today, but for DeMario, he's going to have over about a 2nd lead.
Great to see Matthew Chapman having this opportunity. He is our newly crowned, just back at Mid-Ohio, Junior Cup champion for this season, so already getting an opportunity to move up. There is still another round of competition for Junior Cup when we get to the championship round down in New Jersey in just a couple of weeks, but great opportunity for all of these riders. Let's go ahead and get back down to Michael Hill. We have a rider off. Michael?
Yeah, rider down, but walking away. That's coming out of the penultimate corner, so good to see that he's up on his feet. That is bike 19, I'm being told, but rider is okay, just shrugs his shoulders, and he will, of course, fight another day tomorrow. Alessandro DeMario, though, now finds himself, Jamie and Roger, in a slightly unusual position. He's never fought for a national championship, has he? Of course, I know he was involved in the MotoAmerica Talent Cup, and is that Rocco gone down? That's Rocco Landers. Rocco Landers goes down, and that is a decisive move, a decisive change in the championship. I was just about to say the experience for Rocco Landers, and he throws it away. Jamie, that is a pivotal turning point in the BellissiMoto Twins Cup Championship. DeMario now takes control.
You see Rocco Landers working hard to get that bike up and back underway, but there was a flash of flame coming out from the bottom of it. Can he make it back around, and can he continue this race as our championship point leader, Rocco Landers, throwing it over here on the 2nd lap of race number 1.
Wow, I could not believe that when I seen the orange bike sliding across the track. What an opportunity for Alessandro DeMario now to really have a huge point stay. You see Rocco's going to have his head down. Not a long race, but try to get as many points as possible.
As Rocco Landers looks like he is back up to speed, and he's going to have to come through this field now and try and brush that off. You were talking, Michael, about the pressure on Alessandro DeMario. He was on our preview show earlier this weekend, and he didn't seem like he was carrying any pressure with him. At 15 years old, he carries so much confidence. Look at the live championship points as they run. Rocco Landers down now in 2nd place if the checkers were to to be shown with 185 points, 6 points behind what DeMario would earn with that 25 points awarded for the win.
I think the 19-point lead for Alessandro, or being behind 19 points going into the race weekend, kind of frees him up, because the only thing he can do is win. And with the 6-point lead going into tomorrow's race, if it finishes like this, he can get second and still win the title.
There is some more debris out on the racetrack. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see that big piece of debris right there in the middle of the track. Right-hand side of your screen is a live look at our race leader, Alessandro DeMario. Not sure where that bodywork came from, which bike it came off of. See the gap now growing with Rocco Landers out of that second place contention, and now there's another incident. We have 2 riders that are down.
Looks like that's up there in turn 1. Somebody usually probably tried to make a pass up the inside, and they got a little tight there at the apex. Both those riders trying to get back up and get back in this race as well.
Jose Flores was one of the riders. We do have a replay, so we'll get back in just a moment. Take a look, Roger.
Yeah, just coming from the outside there and went for it, and just wasn't enough space there. Closed up there really late, and you can see when he got up, he wasn't real happy about that. So we see Alessandro DeMario still just out there putting some laps in, almost 2 seconds quicker than Rossi Moore behind him, and Dominic Doyle has a huge lead. Last lap was a little under 4 seconds, and it's going to be close to 6 seconds, 5.5 this lap. You see him take a big look over now, only sees, you know, there's no radio communication, so, you know, the only way he would know Rocco crashed is if it says on his pit board, Rocco's out.
We did see him look over his shoulder a couple of times, though, to see what that gap was. I imagine that he's probably done the same, and he no longer sees Rocco behind him. Instead, it's Rossi Moore.
And Rossi Moore's been riding great as well, and I know he's got some opportunities over in some Europe races coming up as well, but he's another guy this Twins Cup class really starting to, you know, the team and the Suzuki, and also Rossi really coming on strong here about mid-season toward the end.
Yeah, he's been able to finish on the podium 4 times this season. Hasn't been able.
Oh! Crash out of turn 1.
Big crash coming out of turn 1 as you see the rider trying to get safely out of the way.
Yeah, that was a big high side. That was weird. It almost seems like when he went to shift, the rear end stepped out. You can see he's trying to.
All right, here's a replay. Take another look at this.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's almost like he's getting on the throttle, picks the bike up a little bit, rear end just came around, and from there, man, that's a tough crash.
Well, that's a big impact for
Red flag.
Rossi Moore. His bike was still on the racetrack. Red flag has now been shown. We're working lap 4 of 8. But with Rossi Moore on one side of the racetrack and his bike on the other, race control bringing out the red flag so they can safely get him off of the racetrack.
Get his bike as well. But this is going to be huge for Rocco Landers. This is going to really be a huge benefit for him.
So red flag conditions, all the riders have to come down to pit lane. They all have to stop. Any work that needs to be done on the bikes, they can do that.
Can do just about anything, but you can't change tires.
Wonder if when Rocco went down, if there was any damage that's maybe hindering him just a little bit. He has been able to move up through the field back into points paying position after going down. He's up into 13th when this red flag came out.
You know, I've been seeing his right leg kind of hanging off a little bit, so I'm wondering if the right foot peg maybe could be missing possibly. But you see Rocco, he's going slow into the pits, but he's not going too slow because he wants to give his team, you know, you want to be safe. You see the right foot peg is gone. You want to be safe getting in, but he also wants to give his crew as long as possible to be able to fix that bike.
There it is. You did see his leg hanging off, and team's got some work to do It's a great point, though. Now they're going to get the time to be able to do it. For Rocco Landers will get another shot. He had a good start there. Alessandro Mario had a great start, though. He hadn't put a wheel wrong. And for Alessandro, getting out of this rhythm with this red flag, he's going to have another opportunity at it, of course.
Yeah, he definitely didn't want to see. Things were kind of going his way. He was slowly pulling away, and Rocco was having his issues, and this is really going to, sometimes these red flags can work for you, and sometimes they can work against you. And for Rocco, this is a huge help.
All right, as all the riders make their way over to their teams and race control does everything they can do to get this track ready to go, we're going to take a quick moment, step away. We'll be back right after this.
Get ready to eat like a king with Mission Foods. Load up those saddlebags for Mission King of the Baggers Racing and feed your need for flavor. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
It just kind of surpassed all my expectations as far as handling and actually rideability. It's really impressive.
This bike handles in the mountains like no other bike I've ever ridden.
Sport bike, American touring bike. It's a great hybrid of the two.
It sits down in the road when you hit that throttle and you just take off for the sunset. It drops into that flow and you're gone.
Over 1 million motorcyclists trust RevZilla for their online shopping experience. Because we have thousands of top brands, so you never have to look anywhere else. Gear tested by expert riders who can help you find the perfect product for every kind of ride. RevZilla is the best shopping experience for the motorcycle enthusiast. And new customers get 10% off their first purchase. Visit RevZilla.com.
There's no better way to see a country than on a motorcycle. You're riding through it, you're smelling it, you're feeling it. I ride because of the freedom that it makes me feel. The outdoors, the wind, the sun on your skin, and that's what keeps me getting back on the bike, to feel that freedom. You get to see such a unique landscape. Pretty special.
Hey, bud, ready for your first race?
So there's some serious players that are going to be coming up here. Lots of great riders. A race starts here. And here we go. Revs are up. Lights are on. We're ready. Who gets the line? Oh, it's a moment.
We are back at Circuit of the Americas, where you can see live down on pit lane here in the BellissiMoto Twins Cup race number 1 of their championship weekend. Work being done on the bike of our championship leader. This is Rocco Landers' team going to work. Roger, let's take a look at the highlights from before this red flag.
Yeah, it looked like Rossi Moore got a really good jump on the inside of that front row, but Alessandro DeMario able to ride around the outside. And then Rocco Landers, who's leading the points, was able to make a move around Rossi there at turn 2, wanted to get behind Alessandro DeMario, who showed incredible pace all weekend. And these three, the top three, started to break away a little bit. Alessandro DeMario was pulling away from Rocco Landers. And then here, a big change in this race. The championship points leader goes down, puts himself able to get back in the race. And then right here, Rossi Moore, just an ugly crash outside of turn 1 on the exit there. He was in the racing line and the bike. Red flag came out to get some medical treatment over to Rossi, and it's great to see him get up and be able to walk to the ambulance.
After watching him crawl to get off of the racing line, that image there of him walking is great to see indeed. It is going to be a 5-lap race once we get back to racing. But before that, let's get down to Michael Hill.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. I'm down here, just stood alongside the Revzilla garage, or the Revzilla hot pit. There's a lot of frantic activity going down here, as you could expect. The various different coloured tapes there just to keep the fairing in place. A lot of cosmetic damage to the side of this bike. As you can see there, Rocco Landers is in the hot pit, and I'm sure you can appreciate, ladies and gents, I'm not going to go and stick a microphone in his face. As much as I'd love to know what's going through his head, we're going to let him just refocus. Obviously, coming on the back of his first Mission Food King of the Baggers win. Work going on down here. I was actually at the other end of the pit lane when that race was red flagged. The good news, as we saw, is that Rossi Moore up on his feet. And I did see when Alessandro Di Mario came in, and he said, why was the red flag? The team then told him that Rossi Moore had crashed. They also then told him that Rocco Landers had crashed. And the first thing that Alessandro Di Mario said, are they okay? Which I thought, for a 15-year-old that is fighting for a championship, the first thing he wanted to know was, were the riders okay? So great sportsmanship from the Robum Engineering Rodeo Racing rider. He then said he was going to run off to the bathroom, so we left him to it. I've then made my way along the pit lane, and as you can see, Rocco Landers is down here. He was a little bit animated when he came in, and I think that is understandable, just the adrenaline absolutely flowing, and those two riders were fighting it out for the championship all season. This could still be a decisive swing point in the championship, because the way this race is going to reline up when we go green again is they will not be on the way that they qualified. If you are new to MotoAmerica racing, in fact pretty much all FIM sanctioned racing, once we have completed a certain number of laps, which we had before the red flag, the grid then is formed based on the finishing positions. That means that Alessandro Di Mario will start from pole position, Rocco Landers will start from 12th, back on row number 4. And as you can see, the work going on down here, there's a lot of damage to this bike, and I just wonder what Rocco Landers can salvage. Hayden Gillam is down here now also talking to Rocco Landers, and surely they are just telling Rocco it is now just damage limitation. You have a 19-point lead in the championship. For Rocco, it doesn't matter if Di Mario wins this race. It is important that Rocco Landers does finish this race and gets as many points as possible. The other thing to bear in mind is this is not an aggregate race. We're not adding the times together from race 1 and times together from race 2. It is lights out and we go racing again. Whoever comes across the line first will be classified as the winner. They will take the 25 points. Great work by the Revzilla Vanson Hines Motul Suzuki team. Rocco Landers is back on the bike, and it looks as though we are going to go racing. As you say, they can't do a lot of changes. There's a lot of scuff marks and grazing on that screen. Rocco Landers is going back out onto the track, and this championship resumption, Jamie, between Alessandro Di Mario, the 15-year-old, and still a teenager, 19-year-old, I believe he's still 19, might have just turned 20 for Rocco Landers. This championship, I believe, is going to go down to tomorrow. The big question now is, can Di Mario keep his composure? Can Rocco Landers basically salvage something from this race? Cannot wait for the restart.
No, it's going to be exciting for sure. And for Rocco Landers having to start this race, what will be 5-lap race from the 12th position, Roger, how is that different from the front row that he had earned in qualifying?
Well, now he's going to have to pass a couple guys, and he's also going to want to make up a lot of points, but he's also going to want to be careful. He doesn't want to crash again. He wants to make sure he at least gets a couple points. But for Rocco starting, where he's going to start, he's going to be able to make up a lot of spots. He's going to make up a lot. He's going to be able to pass the guys in front of him, and he just has to be kind of patient, aggressively patient for a young rider, which is really hard. He wants to make up spots, but he cannot crash again. He's got 19 points. Just get something on the board going into tomorrow where there's not tons of pressure, where he must win tomorrow.
With the performance that Alessandro Di Mario has here at COTA and the pace that he had during the first race that just unfolded, if it were to checker right now, he would earn 191 points going into the race tomorrow. For Rocco Landers, if he were to finish in 12th, where he's going to restart, he'd be at 189. So Rocco's going to have to make up some ground here. But for Alessandro, he needs to just keep doing exactly what he did the first time out.
Yeah, and that's all he can do is win. And that's, if he wants to try to get as many points as possible, and he's showed the pace. Even if he doesn't get a good start, Alessandro just has to be a little bit patient, because he definitely has the pace on the rest of the guys in the in the class, but he needs to win and just put 5 more laps together like he's done all weekend.
When the bikes were out the last time, who else were you watching? Who else did you notice?
Well, I thought Gus Rodeo was looking pretty good as well. Dominic Doyle, those guys, and watching Rocco come through the pack. But Gus had some issues on, you know, the first practice and learning the track. This track's not easy to learn, being so long. Just watching Gus starting to really figure things out.
We talked about Matthew Chapin, our newly crowned Junior Cup champion, out there in his BellissiMoto Twins Cup race debut. He was putting on an impressive performance as well, being able to stay inside of the top 10. Saw Sean Unvarsky was the first rider to get back out there for the sighting lap. He's been quick this weekend as well. Rossi Moore was having a great race going also, wishing him the best as he is now being evaluated by the medical staff. There is still one more race tomorrow. It'd be great to see him back out on the grid for that one. You see Rocco Landers there, back in the 12th position.
Bike's going to be beat up a little bit. The handlebars might not be perfect. The foot peg, you know, he's got that back on. You can see the windscreen's got some, you know, rubber marks and some scratches. But, you know, at this point here, guy at Rocco's level, he's not going to be worried about that. He knows what he's got to do, and, you know, it's not going to be perfect. But, you know, right now he's got to kind of make up for that mistake.
Could also see was he left pit lane for that sighting lap. You could see all the scuff marks that were on the right side of his body, as well as he also hit the deck and it absorbed a lot of that, and he's going to be feeling that also.
He's going to be feeling it, but I think once the lights go out for Rocco, he's not going to be thinking about that.
It's all about focus for these young riders in the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. Awaiting word that they can now begin their final warm-up lap. Go up that hill. It's such a dramatic incline. You really can't see it as well from the camera angles, but when you're out there on the racetrack, it is certainly dramatic. This is the quick start grid. This is the restart. So you see Alessandro Di Mario still on that pole position with Dominic Doyle and Gus Rodeo alongside.
Matthew Chapin, Sean Unvarsky having a great weekend, and Chris Parrish.
Romeo Chiavini up on row 3 alongside Avery Dreyer and Tyler Duffy.
You got Bryce DeBorio, Michaela Moore out there this weekend, and Rocco Landers.
That was a big improvement for her. She was way further back the first time around. Sonia Lloyd, Joseph Bittner, and Chandler Slagle there on row 5.
We got Mookie Wilkerson, Brandon, and Drew Vendo.
Going back to row 7, Cliff Coglietti, Brogdon Richards, and Rich Foster. 21 riders for this quick start, 5 laps for BellissiMoto Twins Cup. It is a championship weekend. We'll have one more race tomorrow. Let's get back down to Michael Hill before we go racing.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Of course, riders now on this sighting and warm-up lap. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? It's only a 5-lap race. It's going to be pretty much elbows out all the way. The big question for me now is just how calm and composed can Alessandro Di Mario remain? He was very, very calm when the red flag was thrown. Shown great maturity. How can Rocco Landers bounce back? It's going to be all action, 5 laps. Coming up. Cannot wait.
It was a great point that Michael brought up, just the composure of Alessandro Di Mario. We commented on it after the preview show interview with him yesterday morning, Roger, but to know that even after the racing started here today, he still had that same no stress mentality. It's nice to hear.
Yeah, and only being 15 as well, I think it's just for him it doesn't seem like he lets things bother him. He doesn't really get too excited, and when things aren't going right, it doesn't seem like he doesn't get too low. And like I said, I think also knowing that he has to win, it kind of takes some pressure off of him. But for only to be 15 and showing the speed that he has all weekend, the race pace, the racecraft that he showed, it's been pretty fun to watch throughout the year.
We saw the 99, that white bike of Avery Dreyer, go through the frame. He was another rider that was able to win this season, getting his first win in the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. Alessandro Di Mario, the other rider that was able to get his first win this season as well, and finds himself in contention for the championship. Warm-up lap now wrapping up. You'll see all the riders. There's Sean Unbarsky. We mentioned him earlier. All the riders will find their grid positions. There's Avery Dreyer on that number 99. Dominic Doyle, the number 25. Alessandro DiMario will maintain that number 1 starting position. He had a great start last time out. We'll see if he can duplicate it, keep his head down, keep his focus forward. All he has to do is repeat. 5 more laps to go. Scott Padgett with the red flag at the front of the field. Gets the nod. Everything's good to go. All right, lights are out. Let's go racing. BellissiMoto Twins Cup, race number 1 restarted. Did he have the same start? Is Alessandro DiMario going to be able to hold on to it?
I know Dominic Doyle's got the jump right now. Alessandro DiMario looks like he's in second as they funnel out of turn 1. A little different spot for Alessandro. See if he goes to work early on Dominic.
Dominic Doyle had sat behind this front pack of riders during those opening laps and knew that he needed a good start, but Alessandro DiMario was able to go ahead and get back around him. Rocco Landers, though, a tremendous start from that 12th place starting position. Is he inside the top 5?
Yes,
Roger?
and he's going for 4th right here, and he's going to get it on Matthew Chapin. And Rocco's one of those guys. He's man, some racers just have it, and Rocco's one of those guys. He knows where he has to put himself on a start like that. Really aggressive, and comes out there in 5th, and now he's into 4th.
We're wondering from starting back on row 4 what impact that would have for Rocco Landers, and very quickly he answered that he is not here to give up. He is going for this championship title. He's the championship points leader. All of the experience that he has in this category. He's already won 1 Twins Cup championship.
He's going to make a move down in here to turn 12 and put himself down into 3rd.
Getting around that number 96, that's Gus Rodeo. And now he sees himself up into a podium position. Gus Rodeo staying right there on the back of him, as is the number 95, Matthew Chapin. He's up further than he was before.
Yeah, great start for him, and now he's got a really good opportunity to follow Gus and Rocco. But you know Rocco's going to put his head down. I think he knows he's not going to be able to chase down Alessandro DiMario, but he would like to go past Dominic and collect those points.
The bike might not be pretty underneath Rocco Landers, but for Rocco, he is using everything that he can to be able to end this season with the kind of performance that we've seen out of him through the opening 5 rounds. Dominic Doyle starting to pull away just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, but for Rocco, he's got to love that first lap, 12th to 3rd, and now he's got his sights on Dominic and be able to see if he can't chase him down. But Dominic's been riding really well this weekend as well.
See Dominic Doyle there sitting in 2nd right now. Mentioned that gap, 1.8 seconds. Alessandro DiMario has been able to pull out, and with the 25 points that he would be awarded for the win, you see what that does to the championship point standings. Rocco Landers now up into 3rd, would still have the lead, but the gap closes down to 10 points with 1 race remaining in the 2024 title fight here in BellissiMoto Twins Cup. Alessandro DiMario can do nothing else than just control this race, earn as many points as possible.
Yeah, just through that first sector there, he was quite a bit quicker than Dominic Doyle. But you see Rocco quicker as well, and he's just kind of slowly chipping away at Dominic, and I think the next couple laps he'll be there. And for Rocco, just has to kind of be smooth here and uses a lot of track there, trying to get a good run.
Doyle looks strong though. Yeah. He qualified 5th, but he was able to, his race pace was able to put him up onto that front row when we went to this new grid. So he certainly found something today.
Yeah, and it looked like Rocco was catching him, and now kind of Dominic's pulled it back out. So we'll see how it plays out. There's only 3.5 laps left in this race, so it's going to go quick for these guys.
The issue that Rocco Landers had, it looks like he was able to shake that all off, didn't take it back out to the racetrack with them. The team did everything that they could to put that bike back together as best as possible. Saw all of the orange and black tape going under the side of it. The new foot peg was installed, but Rocco didn't need much. See Gus Rodeo, the 96. We talked about him a little earlier. He's 2 wins this season, 4 podiums.
Oh,
and he's
no, Rocco
Is that
again.
Rocco again?
He's not going to be able to get back in the race.
You can see how frustrated Rocco is with the way this has gone for him today. Alessandro Di Mario, however, continuing to just ride on. We do have a replay of what happened. Here it is, Roger.
Just right into the last corner. Look, way offline. It almost kind of looks like maybe he caught a false neutral possibly, and because he was a little bit offline, or maybe it was something from that first crash that crept in there. But we don't see Rocco make a lot of mistakes and to make 2 in the same race. We see there right there on the outside. Look at that. Just rear end came around. Not exactly sure what happened.
Not able to pick it up this time for Rocco Landers.
Look how far offline he is. That's what makes me think that, you know, maybe he had trouble going back a gear, or maybe caught a false neutral possibly. But just speculating because you don't really see him, you know, that far offline. But it's unfortunate for Rocco.
He very quickly got up and was able to get over there, see if he could get the bike up, and you can see him walking away in frustration. It's a long walk back into the paddock area for Rocco Landers. As he will have to just take this one for what it is today. There is one more race still to go tomorrow. He came in with a 19-point lead in this BellissiMoto Twins Cup Championship, and it's going to come down to the final race of the season. Alessandro Di Mario there on the number 27 came into today sitting 2nd place, and he's done everything right today. He hasn't put a wheel wrong.
Everything right, and for Rocco, it's going to make it tough as well as the pace that Alessandro's had all weekend. Rocco's going to need to win.
With less than 3 laps remaining in race number 1, Alessandro Di Mario solidly in the race lead right now. You see what it does to the championship points, the 25 points that he would win with that victory today puts him 6 points ahead of Rocco Landers going into tomorrow. Let's get down to Michael Hill.
Yeah, you see the pictures there, and just a couple of laps to go then. Alessandro Di Mario, just 15 years of age. He has withheld the pressure and is riding a really remarkable race here, it has to be said, especially after leading in that first part. As Roger Hayden said as well, I have to agree, you don't often see mistakes from Rocco Landers. I'm stood down here watching on the big screen as well, and I did think he's pushing on here. Sometimes you've got to just settle for 4th or 5th place. The championship is long, and this is another big swing in this championship. Of course, it's not over, but right now we're going to head into the final race of the season tomorrow with the 15-year-old Alessandro Di Mario. There's his mum looking on, and she could barely speak before the race, so goodness knows what's going through her mind right now. But the young Italian rider is on the verge of taking the lead in the championship for the first time this season. And I tell you what, Jamie, with 24 hours until the championship is decided one way or the other, what a great time to do it.
It couldn't be any better for Alessandro Di Mario, his whole family here with them this weekend, just as they are each and every race weekend at just 15 years old. He certainly has the support of everyone around him. You see the gap that he's been able to open up now over Dominic Doyle, who is sitting in 2nd place, over 5.5 seconds separating these front 2. Gus Rodeo still in position for a podium finish, some 3.6 seconds behind Dominic even. So this was only a 5-lap race, 2 laps to go here for these BellissiMoto Twins Cup riders, but Alessandro Di Mario, he can't do anything wrong.
Yeah, it's just been all weekend. I mean, we've talked so much about him, but he's put on a performance like this, and that's all you can do when a rider comes in and just dominates practice, qualifying, the races as well. Just really kind of been in his own league all weekend, and for a young rider to be able to do it when the race counts as well. And you know, it's not just today, it's the last half of the season we've seen Alessandro really making huge strides, and then this weekend just unbelievable speed.
I think after talking to him Friday morning also, Roger, him being given the opportunity to come out and ride in Super Hooligans aboard one of the new Ducatis, wasn't able to earn any points, but he was given the opportunity based off of the performances that he's put in over the course of the season. And I think at just 15 years old, he was able to recognize the fact that somebody else believed in him, and I think that's done a lot for his confidence as well.
Yeah, and also just having fun. I talked about how much he loved riding that Super Hooligan bike, and that's huge for a young rider, and probably also helped him take his mind off the championship and the pressure going into trying to make up points on Rocco.
You saw the white flag being shown to Alessandro Di Mario. This is the final lap in race number 1 of the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. That gap continues to grow between himself in second place and Dominic Doyle. Gus Rodeo still there in contention for the podium. Great to see Matthew Chapin, though, inside of the top 5 as well.
Yeah, he's riding great, and this is an awesome opportunity for him. His very first Twins Cup weekend, and really hasn't been outside the top 5, if any, in any session all weekend.
It was great to see Michaela Moore able to make up some ground, and she improved her starting position when we went to that restart, but you don't see her name up there anymore. She has had to pull off of the racetrack as well with the mechanical issue. We saw her have some mechanical problems yesterday also, but another one of those riders is being given opportunities based off of the performances that they put in over the course of the season.
And Sonia Lloyd also got herself inside the top 10 in 8th. Young lady's had kind of an up and down year this year and really putting it together this weekend.
Alessandro Di Mario with the head down, coming down this straightaway. So much speed here at Circuit of the Americas, one of the fastest racetracks that we go to over the course of the championship season. For Alessandro Di Mario, he may not be aware of the fact that Rocco Landers is down this time.
He knows he has a big lead. You can see in his lap times, he really slowed down those last couple laps, doing 2:18s, and kind of has it on cruise control from here. And, you're right, he might not know. He knows he has a big lead, but I'm not sure if he knows Rocco's out. Maybe he's seen his bike coming out of that last corner.
Certainly not pushing it as hard as he was early on, but you're right, Roger, he doesn't have to. And to be 15 years old and to be aware of what he needs to do and then to be able to put it into effect, there's a lot of good things to come for this young rider. Alessandro Di Mario, race number 1 here on championship weekend in BellissiMoto Twins Cup competition. Coming around for the final time. You see, he knows it. That checkered flag is his. It is win number 2 for Alessandro Di Mario this season. 8 podium results, and now he goes into the final race of the season with the points lead.
That's what I love about this Twins Cup class. You never know what to expect. It's been so up and down in a different year all year.
It's another battle coming to the line. See Chris Parrish. Is he going to be able to get around? Romeo Chiavini is right there with him. It's going to go to Chris Parrish for 6th place. Romeo Chiavini settling into 7th. Sonia Lloyd able to stay inside of the top 10 as well. But Tyler Duffy was able to get around Sonia Lloyd. You take a look at the race pace for Alessandro Di Mario. You called it there, Roger. You could see that he had certainly backed off a bit. That first lap, his quickest one, a 2:17 down to a 2:19, but he didn't need to go any faster.
No, he's seen his pit board, seen the gap that he had, and just went as fast as he needed to get that win. And, that's smart, aware of what's going on around him.
A pump of the fist for the fans, and Alessandro Di Mario will get to come around and collect a trophy in just a few moments.
BellissiMoto Twins Cup is brought to you by BellissiMoto, where the biggest names in custom bike building shop for parts. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Back with you here at Circuit of the Americas for the cool-down lap of BellissiMoto Twins Cup. There is Dominic Doyle, able to finish on the podium for the 5th time this season. Alessandro Di Mario just collected his 2nd win, his 8th podium. He snapped a 3-race win streak that Rocco Landers was on. Take a look at the full results. Mentioned the win for Di Mario, Dominic Doyle there in 2nd, and Gus Rodeo rounding out the top 3.
And you got Matthew Chapin, Sean Umbarski, great ride for him. Chris Parrish, Romeo Chiavini, Tyler Duffy, Bryce DeBoyer, and Sonia Lloyd.
Yeah, Sonia Lloyd was up into 8th place there. She came to the checkered flag, but able to hold on to a top 10 finish. You see Jeffrey Perk in 11th and Joseph Bittner there in 12th.
Mookie Wilkerson, Carl Price, Drew Vandal getting the last point. Rodney Vest, Rich Foster.
Great result for Drew Vandal. And going all the way down. Chandler Slagle and Brendan Chazorn there rounding out the top 19. Might have been only 5 laps, Roger, but the highlights were aplenty here in race number 1 of the BellissiMoto Twins Cup Championship weekend. A lot on the line here in race number 1.
Yeah, race number 1, and this was the first start where you see Alessandro DiMario on the outside getting a really good start over Rossi Moore. See Rocco Landers there on the orange Suzuki, able to get into second. And then big things happen in this race. The championship leader goes down, and then Rossi Moore goes down as well. You can see the bike right there on the track. Red flag is going to come out. So we got to start a little different lineup. You see Dominic Doyle on the front row getting a really good start, leading out through turn 1, but Alessandro DiMario makes a move on him quick. And Rocco Landers starting 12th. Worked his way all the way up to 3rd on that first lap, and that's where he would run for most of the race there. You see Alessandro DiMario able to pull away. Dominic Doyle riding great. Gus Rodeo, and then Rocco Landers, big crash. Look at that offline. Not sure exactly what happened in that last corner. The championship leader's back out. You can see the smoke coming up on his bike, not able to get back in the race. But Alessandro DiMario, we've been talking about it all weekend. As you see Rocco, just the letdown coming back into the pits. But Alessandro DiMario, what a ride by this young rider.
Yeah, the devastation on the face of Rocco Landers, that really tells a lot of the story. The thumbs up from DiMario, that's the flip side of it. Nearly a 7-second gap that DiMario had over second place of Dominic Doyle, even on the heels of slowing it down there at the end of the race. This is what it's all about, Roger.
I just looked at the TV. Motherfucker hit the gnarliest high side ever. Holy shit.
You see DiMario there getting the bike over to the podium to be able to celebrate with his team. Let's take a look at the championship points now. 1 race remaining in this championship season for BellissiMoto Twins Cup, and there is quite a shakeup. Alessandro DiMario now leading the way with the 6-point gap over Rocco Landers.
Yeah, and then you see Gus Rodeo, Dominic Doyle, Rossi Moore there 5th. Like you said, a big shakeup in the pace that Alessandro has had. Rocco's going to have to find some speed tonight.
Going to need to find some speed. Going to need to get that bike put back together first. That second crash, he was not able to pick it up. He's going to have to brush it off himself as well. Let's go ahead and hear from Alessandro DiMario. Let's sit it down to Michael Hill.
The 3 riders then are down here, and of course the biggest smile is going to belong to the... What a way to take the lead in the championship, Alessandro DiMario, just 15 years of age. You kept your cool, and the smile says it all. 6-point advantage going into tomorrow's race. Just talk us about that. Absolutely superb.
First of all, I hope Rossi's all right. I saw the crash on TV, it was bad, and Rocco too, that was a gnarly high side, so, I just hope they're all right. When I crashed at Barber and I lost many points, and today was the day I made them up, so I'm really happy. I just want to thank everybody, the whole team, Kevin, Freddie from home, I didn't forget you. I love you. And my parents, they've done everything for me. Thank you. Matt, Chad, Mike, and all my sponsors, AJC, Daneasy, Moto Liberty, just everybody, thank you so much.
Excellent job. And his mum and dad down here, a lot of people very, very happy indeed. Let's move across then and speak to our second place finisher for the Jack Moto Yamaha team, Dominic Doyle, another rider that's been out on track quite a few times this week, and a nice way to end Saturday here with 20 points and another podium. Great.
100%. I didn't really think I'd be up here at the start of this weekend. We've been struggling quite a lot, but my team really pushed hard and gave me the best bike they could, and it was really way better than it was in qualifying. And I just tried to stick with Alessandro after the red flag and just click the laps down. And I didn't think I'd be on the podium, but here I am. I just got to thank the whole GIAC Moto Racing team, Yamaha, Arai Helmets, RST, CV Racing, BartCon, everyone that helps me get here, and I'm just speechless a little bit.
Great job. Dominic Doyle then in second place. And making it a 1-3 for the Rodeo Racing Robot Engineering team. He'd never been to the circuit before. He had his issues yesterday, but there were no issues today. He got the gloves on, got the elbows out, and got another podium. Gus Rodeo, nice smile on your face as well. Great for the team, obviously getting the win, and great for you getting on the podium as well. Great third place. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the most laps I've done in a row all weekend. So having never been here, it was kind of tough, but I'm happy. Like I didn't expect to be on the podium, honestly. And I don't really believe in luck, but it seems like we've had kind of a string of bad luck this year. And if anybody's going to lock up the championship, I'd hope it be my teammate Alessandro. So I'm super happy for him, and I'm excited for the last race tomorrow and kind of see what we can do and not get in this guy's way over here. But thanks to the whole team, HJC, Dayanese. It's been a while since I got a podium, but Artie, Mike, Frank, my dad, my mom, my grandparents. I have so much family out here from Texas, and I want to thank them all for coming out this weekend, and first time meeting them, so it's really cool to do it here and at the racetrack. So thank you everyone watching at home, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Excellent. Gracious as ever. Third place then to Gus Rodeo. And I tell you what, Jamie, 3 happy gents on the podium. We are going to have one heck of a season finale for BellissiMoto Twins Cup tomorrow.
It is going to be a great race indeed. Speaking of tomorrow, let's take a look at the broadcast schedule here on MotoAmerica Live Plus and what you can expect. Our coverage beginning with Steel Commander Superbike morning warm-up. That coming at 8:50 local time, followed by Mission King of the Baggers warm-up, BellissiMoto Twins Cup warm-up. And then we get into racing in early on in the morning with Mission Super Hooligan race number 2. That's at 10:15 a.m. local time, followed by Steel Commander Superbike race number 2 at noon, and then BellissiMoto Twins Cup race number 2. Super Sport will follow them at 2 o'clock local, and then the third of the Steel Commander Superbike races will be right after that. There's a lot of action still to come, Roger.
Yeah, we got some big races tomorrow. Some titles are going to be Super Hooligan titles on the line, Twins Cup titles on the line as well, so it's going to be a big Sunday.
Championship Sunday in 2 different categories here in MotoAmerica. BellissiMoto Twins Cup being one of them, and Mission Super Hooligan being the other. We've got some hardware to hand out tomorrow to wrap up this season. With that winner trophy in hand, Alessandro Di Mario gets to go to bed tonight and get ready for a championship race day. So much action here at Circuit of the Americas. There is something for everybody. We have 5 different classes you can watch tomorrow. Thanks for sticking with us here on our all-day coverage on MotoAmerica Live Plus for the 60-person crew over in the TV compound. Some great pictures and sounds that were brought to us here today. We'll be back with even more of it tomorrow. We'll see you then.